The Paddy Power half hour on OTB Sports. Minimal contact in stadiums. That shouldn't stop the usual suspects from going down. Gamble responsibly. Gamblingcare.ie.
Oh yeah, we've got a big show lined up for you today. It's just gone 1:30 on a Friday afternoon, and where else in the world would you be but the Paddy Power half hour with myself and Enda every Friday afternoon, picking through the best games of the weekend, telling you what to watch, and hopefully giving you some good gambling advice along the way as well. Joining us this week, our stat man, is the odds compiler from Paddy Power, Jason Murphy. Jason, good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good, Ger. Not as dapper as yourself. The missus has offered to do a haircut this weekend, but I'm a bit reluctant.
Oh, you need one. That's oh no,
last time she did it right this side, and then you could see the curve going up. It was like the COVID, and this side we completely flattened the curve, so it was like something like this. But yeah, it's getting to that stage now.
Do you know what? I'm wrong. I take that back. This is every middle-aged man's opportunity in life to grow their hair long the way they always wanted it to be when they couldn't in school. You go for it, Jason. You be you. That's what I'm saying.
Sound.
Enda, who's cutting your hair?
I actually give myself a quick COVID haircut there the other day.
Looks a bit like it.
The back is the toughest. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's panic stations for a good 20 minutes of the 40-minute haircut. So it takes a lot longer, but I mean it's not too bad, I suppose.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on. Our new segment called Near Miss is up and running, and it's off to a brilliant start. We had a big winner last week. We gave away 1,500 quid to one lucky punter. It's aimed at helping you reclaim a losing bet stake, and sometimes, if you plead your case properly, we might pay out. It's called Near Miss because if you nearly win a Premier League bet, if you have a single bet or an accumulator with Paddy Power, and it's fallen down because of a dodgy VAR decision or a dive or the referee headbutts somebody, you know, these things happen, then tell us about it, and our equivalent of the Dodgy Goals Commission will sit in judgment. It's all about the Premier League, so any losing bet that almost made it and you're feeling sore about are legitimate entries. Every week, our team will select a bunch of winners. Most of you will get your stake refunded back into your account, but for some lucky punters, we'll actually pay out losing bets as winners when we feel they've deserved it. We did it to 1,500 quid last week. So, to enter, after your bet doesn't come off, make sure you get in touch with us. Take a screen grab, make sure that it includes your bet slip ID, and send them in to us either using the hashtag PPNearMiss on Twitter, a DM on Instagram, or you can send your screen grab to us on WhatsApp 0879 180 180, and we will do the rest. So every Friday at the end of the Paddy Power half hour, we'll announce that week's winners. You can see all the terms and conditions on otbsports.com, and stay tuned to our social channels for more details and, of course, reminders for when that happens. The fixtures this week. It's a mediocre slate of fixtures, I have to say, and I've ended up with all the turkeys, and I'm not sure how that happened. But anyway, Newcastle versus Villa is tonight. Leeds versus Chelsea is the early kickoff tomorrow. Palace and West Brom at 3 o'clock on Saturday. What a doozy that is. Everton against Burnley at 5:30, then Fulham against Man City at 8 o'clock on Sunday. It's Southampton against Brighton. Leicester against Sheffield United kicks off at 2 o'clock. Sheffield United now managerless, we expect, by the time that game kicks off. Arsenal against Spurs at 4:30, and at 7:15 is Manchester United against West Ham. On Monday night, it is Wolves versus Liverpool as Liverpool scope out who they're going to sign in the transfer window this summer. Enda, how do we get on with last week's specials?
Yeah, we didn't get anywhere near the goals bet that we had, the over 30 goals. I think it was like 22 in total. So it was an even lower week than we expected. But we did have a winner last week. We had West Ham to score a set piece. Jesse Lingard, I was actually texting Emmett last week at the time that he was taking his penalty, wondering if it counted as a set piece. He missed it, ended up scoring, but then he scored a set piece a couple of minutes later. So that one came through, and we also predicted the draw in the Burnley Arsenal game. So two winning bets from last week is not that bad.
Yeah, so we also predicted a draw in the Burnley Arsenal game. Now, does a penalty count as a set piece?
It does. We would have paid out the bet on that. If Lingard does the job there, that bet would have been paid.
Right. Okay. So, if we hadn't, then we would have been applying for the near miss. Not sure you're allowed to sit in on your own near misses, Enda. That might be a little bit of a conflict of interest. What are our specials this week?
This week we're going for a North London derby special. So obviously, I actually think that this derby still has a bit of bite in it, apart from like the odd, stupid tackle from Granit Xhaka, which is to be expected. So we're going with a North London derby booking points bet. So I think Jason's actually going to explain what that means and what it is.
Yeah, so essentially we're saying 50 booking points or more to occur in the North London derby this weekend. The price is 2-1, and the way you add up the points, it's 10 for a yellow, 25 for a red, and if a player gets booked and gets sent off, it's 35 points total. So if you look at the last 3 seasons, the 7 games that were played, on average, we've seen above 60 booking points occur in this game. The last North London derby this season, we only seen 30, but that man Granit Xhaka did pick up one of those yellows.
I've seen this bet click in like the 97th minute as well. That's like you kind of get to watch the whole way through, because you never know when the conflagration is going to happen. I'm just not sure these teams hate each other enough, Enda. I'm not sure about this one. What's your rationale?
I don't know, Jared. The last couple of derbies between these two have been feisty enough. Comparing to the other so-called derbies in England now, this one still has a bit of its bite. So, you look back at the games with the likes of Dele Alli in the corner celebrating in front of the Arsenal fans, and then a big schmozzle, if you could call it that.
Unlikely to happen this time, though. What go on?
Well, that's what I'm seeing.
I think you need the fans for these things. That would be my concern.
That's fair enough. In this game as well, we're going with a Tottenham special. We're going with Kane to assist Bale, but not to assist Son, and that's kind of coming off the joke from last week that Gareth Bale, Harry Kane was ignoring him for Gareth Bale and his new lover. So that is the bet that's going to happen this weekend, I think.
Go on, Jason. You've been laughing at both those bets, and go on. Why?
Yeah, I know it's just a bit of a lover's tip, but Kane, he's been phenomenal in terms of assists this season. So we're going to price it up and put it on site. Kane to assist Bale, but not to assist Son. Haven't got the price yet, but we'll get it up on site. But in terms of these specials we'll be doing throughout the season, we're going to give you an update as well on a few that we've been doing. And one of them that we started at the start of December was Kane to break the Premier League assist record. The record is 20, held by De Bruyne and Henry. Kane at the moment, he's 13 assists. So he needs another 8. So we still don't think he's going to do it, but that price is cut in from 9-1 to now 11-2 on site if you want it. And we also priced up Arsenal to finish ahead of Tottenham, saying Tottenham's there. We haven't had one in a few years. It used to be a regular of every Arsenal fan season. The price we opened with on that was 6-1, and it's now shortened into 7-2 since the end of November as well. So a lot of interest in this North London derby. And again, we'll just mention the Leicester one because it's into 1-8 now. Like I said, that was at a big price of 12-1. Before Christmas, but with 10 games left, Leicester 10 points ahead of Liverpool, so that bet you'd imagine is definitely going to click.
Yeah, that's anybody who's on that, fair play to them, because at that stage did not look likely. Right, let's move on, because we want you to get involved in the votes every Thursday on Instagram. Follow us at Off The Ball on Instagram. Votes only count up until 10 a.m. on Friday morning. That's when we pull them. Our Premier League fixtures, let's go back and start with Newcastle against Aston Villa. This is tonight's game. I don't know if you're all subscribers to Pop Bitch, but they told us this morning that a bunch of cabbages had been dumped at the Newcastle training ground. They were cleared up before Steve Bruce arrived, so as not to hurt his feelings. The fact that he hasn't won the sack race is pretty amazing to me. But Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 0 is one of those Friday night games that you can absolutely avoid. The XG says Villa are going to win 1-0, but I'm not sure they're going to create enough chances. I can't see where Newcastle's chances are going to come at the moment with all the injuries they have. Tell me the market says something different.
Yeah, the Newcastle 13-5, the draw 23-10, and Aston Villa 21-20, and that's it. You've hit the nail on the head. It's both sides are going to struggle to create chances. Newcastle missing Wilson, Almiron and Saint-Maximin. Maybe one of the cabbages could probably do a job up front. Could be worth a look. But Jack Grealish as well is not going to play in this game. Hopefully he's back for the Spurs game next week. I haven't got a strong bet on this game, but if you wanted to watch it and get a bit of an interest, a bit of a run for a bet, Newcastle are even money to be relegated. So you can back that and cheer on Aston Villa to win tonight. Or you could have a look at Aston Villa to make the top 6. They're 5-1 at the moment. They have games in hand, and they're not involved in Europe like some of the teams around them that'll be challenging for that top 6 spot. So again, you could back that at 5-1. Grealish to come back next week and actually have a nice bet to cheer on for the rest of the season.
It hinges on Grealish really at this point, if anything is going to happen, because it looks like they're one of those teams who might have just got to a points total and decided, you know what, that's our job done. All our bonuses have kicked in. We're still Premier League footballers next season. So anyway, let's move on. We're going to try and get some time for the North London derby. What's next, Enda?
Yeah, so Leeds and Chelsea are the teams that are taking place in the 12:30 kickoff. The one that seems to be a stumbling block for quite a few people in their accumulators has been a stumbling block. I think people are favouring Chelsea in as heavily, and probably rightly so. Thomas Tuchel has done some job with them since he's taken over. Now, we do love stats in this show, Ger, and one thing that's interesting about Leeds is that they're worse at home than they are away. So they've won 38% of their home games, 42% of their away games. But if you look at their goals per game, they're only conceding about 1.3 goals at home. They're conceding over 2 goals per game away from home. So they're scoring an extraordinary amount of goals away from home as opposed to at home. And they're coming out with the victory. So I think This one, I will be favouring Chelsea as well because of that home record of Leeds, because Chelsea have not lost a game under Tuchel yet. So I think, surprisingly enough, this could be actually not the high-scoring game that we might be used to watching Leeds. So I think probably your under 3.5 goals would be a good shot in this. I wouldn't go as far as 2.5 because I do think both teams will score. So I think under 3.5 goals in this game.
So 2-1 win for a 2-1 win for Chelsea is what you think is going to happen.
2-1 win, 2-0 win, either way.
All right. How are we looking?
Yeah, look, the betting is Leeds 7-2, the draw 14-5, and Chelsea is, and as alluded to, 8-11. The way I'd approach this game is I'd actually go with under 2.5 goals at even money because there's value in it. When Leeds play, on average, you see 3.3 goals per game in their matches. That's the highest in the league, and that's driving up the price on the under 2.5 goals. If you look at Tuchel, since he took over, in 10 of their 11 matches, under 2.5 goals is clicked as well. So for the reasons that Enda's alluded to, put them with those facts as well. I think there's a great bit of value in the under 2.5 goals in this match.
Okay, what was the price again?
Even money.
Okay, all right. I can understand that logic. Let's move on. Crystal Palace against West Brom is next. As I said, Enda somehow managed to give me all the big games. Palace 69%. Nice. West Brom 31 in this game. Another 0-0 draw on my slate of games here. Or maybe it's going to be 3-0 because both teams are effectively pants. Infogol, my friends there tell me that 14 times in 15 league games, Hodgson's side have created less than 1 XG. 1 goal in 15 games. 14 out of 15. What a terrible team to watch. Now, Zaha did come off the bench, so maybe things change. I don't know. I can't bring myself to think that anything here is going to happen other than some missed chances and a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, I'd agree with your sentiments there, George. The betting is Palace 23-20, the draw 21-10, and West Brom 5-2. The 23-20 on Palace, I can't touch this. And like, no disrespects to your 3 p.m. Saturday kickoffs of the Palaces against West Broms in this world, but I feel like I've watched this game 50 times in the last 2 months. And this is why I really enjoyed Juventus and Porto the other night, because that's why we watch football. That's why we love football. But for this game, I have the exact same tip as you, but the advice I give you is not to back the 0-0, back the no goal scorer, because if it's an OG and it finishes 1-0, you don't get paid on the 0-0. But if you back no goal scorer and there's an OG, you'll still get paid out, and that's 6-1 for this game.
All right. And so what would the general difference in the price be between the 0-0 draw and the 6-1 or the no goal scorer?
It's just one of these little anomalies. It'd actually be the same price, but that's a bit of insight for you there on that tip.
All right. Okay. I like the sound of that. Okay. Everton against Burnley next.
Yeah. So, Jared, this is a game that Everton need to win. I've been shouting about Everton needing to get these games over the line if they want to get top 4. Everton have a really tough couple of weeks ahead. So they've got Tottenham, Arsenal, Aston Villa, West Ham, and then they finish the year with Man City. So this game against Burnley, they need to win it if they want to keep that winning streak going. And I think they will. Looking at Burnley's last 5 results, 1-1, 1-1, 0-0. They lost 4-0 and they drew 1-1. So I don't give Burnley much hope here. The only hope that I give Burnley is that this would have been a game that previously you would have said they would go in and bully this Everton side, and this Everton side are a little bit weak. But I think mentally they're a little bit stronger this year than they have been. And I think on the pitch, they'll do the business. They're good enough to beat Burnley, and I do think they will. And
is that David Beckham on your... Is that the poster on the wall behind you?
No, that's Roy Keane.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure, very good. What are the prices?
Yeah, we've got Everton 17-20, the draw 12-5, and Burnley 10-3. And again, just at that price of 17-20, I'd caution people against backing Everton. We spoke about Leeds' home record. They're not the only one with a bad home record this season. Everton have actually only won 5 games at home this season and have lost more. They've actually lost 6 games at home. If you look at Burnley's away record, their last 5 games, they've won 3 of them to 0 in all competitions. That's including the cup tie at Fulham, but also the win at Anfield. Also, Everton are missing Decore and Yerry Mina. 2 people that you would really want, considering that Burnley, you know what they're going to bring to the party at set pieces. They're bringing the bouncer and Sean Dyche, and that's how his team tends to play on the pitch as well. So for me, for all those reasons, I think there might be a bit of value in siding with Burnley, maybe draw no bet at about 9-4. That means if the game ends in a draw, you get your money back. But if Burnley do what they have done on the road recently and win, you'll get paid at 9-4.
Okay, so Everton against Burnley is that one. Fulham against Manchester City is next on our list of games. Just 17% are backing Scotty Parker on our Instagram poll. 83% are voting for Pep. The XG says that Manchester City are going to win this to 0, but Southampton scored twice against them, and Fulham are fighting for their lives. So I do think City are going to win, but I also think that Fulham can score here. This is that time in the season where stuff really matters to teams, particularly the team who've come from behind the way Fulham have done. We've seen loads in the past where that team fights back to this point and then blows it because it's almost like they relax as the finish line is in sight. Just don't get that bang off Fulham at the moment. I think there's enough teams ahead of them who are bad, and I don't think this is a gimme for Man City. I'm sure they're massive odds on though.
Yeah, they're 3-10. Fulham for the upset is 17-2, and the draw is 4-1. And yeah, you're 100% on the marker on what you're saying about Fulham in terms of the foundations that they have, the structure they have there. This isn't a good run of form. This is something that they should maintain between now and the end of the season. And this is why, if you look at the table where Fulham, Newcastle are, but you'll actually see Fulham are a bigger price for relegation than Newcastle. They're about 15-8 at the moment, Fulham. But in terms of this game, I was really impressed with how Man City bounced back against Southampton. Disappointing result against United in the derby. Look, it was a terrible start to the game, and they just, that suited United down to the ground then. But to turn it around the way they did against Southampton, there's no talk of a blip. Like, they set the record straight. They need 6 more wins to win the title, and Pep will want to get those wins early and then concentrate on Champions League and the other cups that are left in. So for me, I think City will have enough to get the job done here. The only bit of insight or tip that I'd give you, I'm not going to have a bet myself. I'll wait for team news. But if Bernardo Silva is in the starting 11, he tends to play half his games in the midfield, about a quarter of his games in that 3 behind the striker when they line up like that, and then the last quarter in a front 3 when they line up like that. If Bernardo Silva is in a front 3, he's 8-1 first goal scorer, and that's when he's a bet, when he's in the front 3. But if he's not, I won't really be looking at backing anything else in this game. Okay,
good advice to wait, because particularly about the Sheffield United game. We'll get to that in a moment. Next up is Southampton against Brighton, Enda.
Yeah, a lot of talk about Newcastle getting relegated and Steve Bruce here. Brighton are below Newcastle on points, and there have been absolute pants over the last couple of weeks. Both these teams have, to be honest, 1 win between them in the last 5. So this is a game where 2 teams are going in terrible form, and this is the chance for Southampton now to turn it around a little bit before the end of the year. Brighton are on the ropes. They can't score a goal, and even when they can score goals, they're generally ruled offside or a handball by VAR. So they've been horribly unlucky at times, but again, they just don't score enough goals, and that for me is the epitome of a team that don't deserve to stay in the Premier League. So I think Brighton are in real trouble here in terms of relegation, especially with Fulham's form. So I think Southampton should be decent enough priced given their form going into this game playing against a relegation candidate.
All right.
Yeah, so we have Southampton 15-8 to draw 2-1 and Brighton 6-4. And when this market actually opened 2 weeks ago, the prices were the other way around. And what has flipped them is the team news. Danny Ings has got injured and will be missing this game since. And we know how important he is to Southampton. If you're looking for bets, I'd suggest possibly Southampton to score the first goal in the game. Doesn't mean that they need to win the game. But in their last, if you look at their home matches this season, they've scored first in 10 of them. That's 75% of the games, but they've actually only gone on to win half of them. So you could actually back Southampton to score the first goal, get the money in at 11-10 and not worry about how the game plays out. And with Danny Ings not on the pitch, James Ward-Prowse will start, will get the penalties, and he's worth a look in the anytime goal score market at 7-2. Has scored 2 penalties in his last 2 games.
They are very, very flaky. That's the the collapse that they've had ever since the manager cried on the pitch. I mean, I'm not saying there's a connection, but it's weird. It's really weird how bad they've become over that next period of time. Let's move on. Leicester against Sheffield United. As things stand at 10-2, we don't really know what the crack is. Wilder's gone, but the press conference to announce that hasn't happened just yet, and we don't know whether or not who is going to be in charge for this game. It seems fairly odd to be getting rid of him at this stage of the week, but that's what's happened. Again, I think, Jason, your advice earlier about waiting for team news, I would definitely be waiting up until the last minute to see exactly what the crack is. This has the bang of a routine Leicester victory. It doesn't seem to me like Sheffield United's ownership or management structure that's going to be left knows exactly what's happening. So, I don't know. How do you price this? Do you price the new manager bounce in next week when they actually get the new manager?
Yeah, it'll be next week. There's no one going to have an effect between now and Sunday. Leicester 1-2, the draw is 3-1, and Sheffield United 11-2. And they're going to be really popular with punters on Sunday, but just give caution again. Leicester have had really close matches with Sheffield United since they came into the Premier League. And offensively, Leicester are missing the likes of Harvey Barnes. Ayo's Perez is only 50-50. Chang's under that's brought in from Roma. There's a lot of that attacking flair isn't going to be there for Leicester. And Jamie Vardy hasn't been 100% since his hernia operation. So for me, I'd stay away from the match betting regardless of the lineups. And I'd actually go with Iheanacho at 10-3 first goal scorer. He's in phenomenal form. He's got 4 goals in his last 7 matches. And if you look at some of those goals as well, the goal he got against Burnley over the shoulder with the left foot, very like Robin van Persie against Aston Villa a few years ago. Ball doesn't travel as far, but just as good. And what I love about football pundits' analysis is the way on Match of the Day they actually talked about Iheanacho's goal against Brighton. Because when I seen that, I thought Burn, complete disaster, like to leave that space in behind. But they talked about with Dion Dublin, Ian Wright, Gary Lineker, how Iheanacho just gives the little shoulder and he's gone in behind. And there's a phenomenal bit of skill by Iheanacho. So with Vardy not in form, Iheanacho at a bigger price in a 3-5-2 against the Sheffield United side that's in disarray and a lot of injuries at the back themselves, I think Iheanacho at 10-3 is probably the best bet for this game.
It sounds like you think Iheanacho is actually turning into a good player.
The thing is, right, when he was in Man City, he was scoring a lot of goals. And this was early days Man City where you're thinking, wow, he's a quality player. But to be honest, I fancy any 3 of us go into that Man City team and if we were playing up top to get 4 or 5 goals in a season. But based on the 3-5-2 Leicester have gone to in recent weeks, his sharpness, those goals, the finishes that we're talking about there, he's proven that he is a good player. And don't get me wrong, even the worst player in the Premier League is 1,000 times better than anything we're going to play down in Carlow on a Sunday morning,
Okay, let's move on. It's Arsenal against Spurs next. Arsenal 31%, Spurs 69%. So Spurs have been quite un-Mourinho-like just recently, creating chances in their last few games against bad defences. Oh look, it's Arsenal coming into a big game. I was following the game the other night essentially through Owen Sheehan's Twitter feed, and I was like, he was melting down, talking about another meltdown, talking about how they always let you down. And then I checked the score and I was like, hang on a second, what's going on here? So I don't know what the truth is about this Arsenal team at the moment. I do like what I've seen from Spurs over the last few weeks. Whether or not they can keep it going, Enda, I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost as if they have all their full team playing on the pitch, and the best players are now fit. Shared they were injured. That's what happened. Spurs. Harry Kane was injured. Son was injured. Dele Alli wasn't playing. Bale was injured. It's no coincidence that they're doing well now that Harry Kane's fit. Really.
What are the...
No?
I don't know. I mean, I think that obviously Harry Kane is hugely important to that team, but I don't know that they were actually playing well, that their defence was playing well, that they looked organised, they were conceding goals from set pieces. They were not a stereotypical Mourinho team, but as Joe was making the point on the football show the other night to Martin Lipton, he hasn't been a very bullying, nasty presence this year. It's like something has happened, and maybe they've come out the other side. How do you price this one up?
Yeah, we've Arsenal 6-4, the draw 23-10, and Tottenham 7-4. And Spurs are one of these teams that now they're on the start of a good run, is the way we view it, and we think they're actually heading in the right direction in the next couple of weeks. Whereas Arsenal, it's been a bit of hit and miss. If you look at the last 10 games in the league, both of these teams have actually 15 points on the board, 6 and 7 in the table, and the market's not splitting them here. Arsenal are going off slight fabs purely because it's an empty Emirates and they have their home dressing room.
It's funny that doesn't tally with their Instagram poll at all.
What's the Instagram poll saying?
It was saying 69% saying Spurs victory.
Yeah, and that's why we're saying you always back the value. So the tip I have is if Spurs at the bigger price, if they go off the bigger price, wait to see the starting 11s. Spurs are the best bet. And my favourite stat this week, if you look at the last game between these sides, Spurs won 2-0. Arsenal dominated the ball. Spurs bang in the first half, win 2-0. And that was the 11th time a Mourinho team in the Premiership finished with less than 35% possession in a game, but they've actually won 9 of those 11 games, which is phenomenal. It's a Mourinho masterclass. He does what he does, and I expect the same to happen again on Sunday. And if you have that front three, that's a Champions League winning quality front three. Bale's won plenty of Champions Leagues. Son and Kane have been in Champions League finals before. Spurs definitely at the bigger price is the bet for this game.
You can make the case that Harry Kane shouldn't have played in that game, and his injury really set Spurs back. And anyway, look, let's move on, because next one is Manchester United against West Ham. And what have you got here? Man United 68, West Ham 34.
Yeah, so this will be interesting because it's obviously David Moyes bringing a West Ham side that are much stronger than they have been in previous games to Old Trafford. But one thing that I do want to touch on, Ger, is the commentary around Man United's win last week against Man City, because a lot of people were talking about how, even though they won, they would like to see a stage where United are going toe-to-toe against Man City. But that's a complete nonsense. They won the game. they got their game plan right. Why do they have to go toe-to-toe when the non-toe-to-toe game plan works against Man City? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now has a winning formula to beat Pep because he has a better win percentage against him than pretty much any top 4 manager at the minute. So I don't understand why people think that United need to be going out and bringing the game to Man City when that clearly does not work and the other game plan does. So I genuinely took issue with that. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. You don't see people talking about whether Muhammad Ali should have been going toe-to-toe and getting on the inside of Joe Frazier. He got his game plan right. United got their game plan right against Man City last week. This week, I think it's going to be a little bit more different because West Ham have a lot more sort of different players to Man City. They play a lot more direct. The Suchek, obviously really strong in the air. And then, from set pieces, Man United aren't that great from defending. So I think West Ham will actually cause United a lot of issues this weekend. I would go a draw in this game if I was to choose one.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the new Muhammad Ali, says Enda Coll. That's the clip, lads. That's it. We can retire now. The show's finished. What?
Yeah, we've Man United at 17-20, the draw 12-5, and West Ham 10-3. And yeah, look, Ollie, he's got Pep's number when United play Man City, but the way the football that City play, you win games more often than playing the way United do. United are just too inconsistent this season, too many draws, and that's why we're not in a title race. And you'd love to see United playing Pep's type of football long term rather than
the United way, and that's the answer. The United way.
Yeah, the United way that is actually the Alex Ferguson way, but sure don't.
Well, no, Matt Busby was in existence before. I realised that football started for you in 1992 and Sky gave part to us, but there was a previous thing where Manchester United played great football. Have you heard of George Best? Do you know who he is?
Yeah, when was that, Jer?
In the 60s.
Yeah, and
that set the United way.
I presume the United team that almost got relegated and the United team of the early 1990s also played the Matt Busby style of football, did it?
They did get relegated. Dennis Law famously backheeled for Man City.
Yeah, so I presume they played the United way as well. How come it didn't work then?
Well, I mean,
it's the manager's way. It's not a club's team. Like, it's the same with West Ham. Loads of people were giving out before David Moyes took over that he doesn't play the West Ham way. It doesn't exist. It's a manager's way of football. It's a player you play the brand of football that suits the players that you have.
I know.
Well,
what's the point in supporting a club then? Honestly, do you think clubs don't have identities?
I think clubs do have identities, but I think they are linked to the players and the managers, not the clubs.
Okay, I just can't wait until Rafa Benitez gets the Celtic job and you're like, this is no good, he's not playing the Celtic way, and we're going to clip that and go, it's not. And sorry, there's this thing as a club wave. I mean, I apologise. Right, last one for me is Wolves against Liverpool. 38% of our Instagram pollsters think Wolves are going to win this. Liverpool, it's away from home. They're on 62%. I haven't a clue what's going to happen here. I genuinely don't. I was looking at this beforehand and it's like Wolves really, really flaky. Created those chances against Villa. Missed an open goal. The XG for them in that game, even though they didn't score, was 2 goals. They've been allowing 1.7 XG per game. Liverpool away from home are creating loads, 2.6 XG. So do I just ignore the fact that Liverpool's form is so flaky and that Wolves' form is kind of flaky too, and that the instinct is that Liverpool are going to bounce in off last week's result, that it is away from home, that whatever pressures they have, that they will score some goals? But I'm just not confident in this one at all, Jason.
Yeah, and look, if you're not confident, you don't always have to have a bet. This is one that you can swerve and avoid. The prices is Wolves 15-4, the draw 13-5, and Liverpool 8-11. Interesting, Liverpool are still a shorter price for the top 4. We have them there at about 4-1, 7 points off 4th place, and they're about 13-2 to win the Champions League. So we still think for Champions League football next year, getting into the top 4 is still Liverpool's best chance of doing it. So they need to get 3 points in this game. But if you're watching it and you want to bet for a bit of entertainment, a bit of value, Diego Jota to score in the 90 minutes. He's 13-8. He looks sharp since he come back. He's had a few chances there against Leipzig during the week. So that'd be the best bet I'd have. He's a bigger price than Salah, Mane. Firmino's 50-50 to play this game. And Jota came off midweek as well. So I'd imagine he's definitely going to start this game. But you can wait for team news.
Okay. And anything you want to say about that?
No, yeah, I think that it's going to be a tight one. Wolves are always very defensively solid, so Fabinho coming back into midfield is the biggest change for Liverpool, and I think it will let them expand a little bit more. So I fancy Liverpool to win that.
All right. Now, we've a few Paddy Power near-miss entries to clear up before we finish up on the show. It was tight this week, so we decided to get the entrants on the line to plead their case. The first person to slide into our DMs this week, you're always a bit worried when somebody's sliding into your DMs with a locked account. But anyway, Ya Boy Fly Rye, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
What's your actual name, Ya Boy Fly Rye?
My name's Ryan.
Ryan Callanan, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read this bit out. Okay. All right, lads. It's safe to say I'm feeling very, very sore after this near miss. One slip up in my 21-fold accumulator was Arsenal in the early kickoff. I was due to win about 11 grand for my fiver. From this viewpoint, Eric Peters' handball was a clear penalty, and I can't believe it wasn't given by VAR or otherwise. Then, to toy with me further, VAR overruled another penalty and red card for Burnley. This added to Pepe's near misses and Xhaka's ability to gift the opposition a goal. This is a very sore near miss. The gambling gods were seriously toying with me, so now I'm praying to the Dodgy Goals Commission and submitting this one as a request for a payout. #PP near miss. So you put a fiver on.
Yeah. Fiver on. We did a crack for a Saturday. Didn't think it would be this close, so it was obviously particularly sore.
How much were you going to win?
It was due to come in at €11,500, so it was 2,200 to one shot.
What was your bet? Just talk us through some of the intricacies of this bet. And why do you make it 21? Would you not be grand with an old 5-time accumulator? You would have walked home happy.
It was just something to spice up the Saturday. Just was looking through the Premier League and the European top flight fixtures and just picked teams that I fancied. And to be honest, I didn't think it would be as close as it was. But looking back on the Arsenal match again, it was incredibly close. Even just the VAR decisions not being given, it's particularly sore viewing. And also, the last game to come in was Dutch First Division 1, it was Utrecht. So if the bet was still on, they won the match with a penalty in the 97th minute. So it would have been an incredible finish. So obviously very sore viewing.
How sick were you when that one happened?
Oh, so sick. I sent the bet slip into my friend's group chat as well, and they got incredible mileage out of it. So, it was very sore to watch. To be honest, I hadn't gotten over it for a few days, but I suppose it was all a bit of fun in the end. I'm
looking through, because you sent us the screen grab of the bets, and so I recognise Hearts and Sunderland and Rangers and Norwich and Feyenoord. Lask Linz, where are Lask Linz from? I don't even know some of these teams that you've added to your accumulator here.
Yeah, I think Linsker in the Bulgarian division. To be honest, I don't really follow them too much. I liked the odds, and I just wanted to I suppose follow us to see where it went. So very smartly, you got onto us and you #PP near miss, and you slid into our DMs, as I said, and you've asked the Dodgy Goals Commission to submit this one for a payout, and I think we can do a little bit better than give you your fiver back. It's €11,400. You're a winner, baby! Are you still there, Ryan? Yeah, that's class. I think I just nearly fell off my chair. €11,400 in cash. Thank you so much. What are you going to do with the money? I'll probably give a good bit of it to my family, and hopefully I'll treat my friends to a few pints after when the pub's open. So that's unbelievable. Thank you so much. Did you have an idea that when we got you on the show that you were going to win, or did you think we were going to give you your fiver back? Oh, I had no idea what to expect. To be honest, this is crazy. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think it takes a little minute for everybody to think. It's €11,400. Thank you. Jason, tell us why this one got over the line. Oh, it's just a brilliant story. Can relate to it so much. Like it's like every one of us, Saturday morning, 10:30, you do your ACCA for a bit of interest, a bit of entertainment. Love Ryan's optimism with the 21 legs, but he puts in the dreaded early kickoff, and Arsenal went 1-0 up, and the 3 chances before Xhaka did what he did. And if they had taken one of them with our 2-up offer, that leg would have settled if Arsenal had gone 2 legs ahead, and he would have won the bet. So what's the 2-up offer? Just explain that. So across the top competitions, if your team goes 2 goals up but fails to go on and win the game, you'll still get paid out as a winner. So even before Xhaka did what he did, there was plenty of chances for Arsenal to go 2-0 up. And Ryan sums up the last 15 minutes of the game there really well. Plus, Ceballos hits the post as well. So really unlucky. He thinks, the ACCA is dead. But like all of us, it's a bit of entertainment, a bit of fun. You keep an eye on it. And when the bet came in, I had a look at the last leg, and he explains it very well there. Like,
For me, you're looking at 1-1, 97th minute in the Dutch league, and you think, okay, it's not just going to be Arsenal takes the sting out of it. And then they get a penalty and goes and wins it. So it's 20 out, 21 legs, which actually clicks for ACA insurance. So if you have 4 legs or more and one lets you down, you get your money back up to a max of €10 or £10. But like it's a great story in terms of it's what you want from a bet, a bit of value, a bit of crack with the lads. Not every ACA is going to win. Not every bet you place is going to win. But for this one in particular, Klopp talks about moments. And there was at least 6 moments in that Arsenal game that you needed it just to go, one of them to go Ryan's way, and he would have won this bet. So very happy to pay out. With the 2-up offer, the 4+ ACA insurance, and with this PP near miss, this is why we think, doing your football ACAs with Paddy Power is what you should do for a bit of crack on a Saturday.
Look, Ryan, you made the great decision to make the 21 bets in your accumulator to get you up to that level, and then you made the even better decision to slide into our DMs.
Yeah, thanks very much. The best DMs I've ever slid into. Thank you.
Listen, good man yourself. Enjoy that weekend. It's going to be class. And fair play to Jason for agreeing to pay out. It's €11,400 in cash. Now, bet sensibly. Only bet money that you can afford, but do have a good weekend. That is this week's edition of the Paddy Power Half Hour. We've made one man very happy. We hope that everybody watching this week has done as well. But remember, if you do have a near miss, get involved. Use the hashtag PP near miss. Slide into our DMs. We don't mind. We can take it. We'll see you next week. Take care.
The Paddy Power Half